In the last episode of Asking Digital Nomads how they make money online, I was in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I met super interesting people that share their lives, income, and much more. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure to click on the link in the description. And today I will share some more digital nomads with new creative ways on how to make money. So stick around to check them out and to get to know this beautiful city, Buenos Aires. Well, I just found another digital nomad here working from Alina, and she's staying here at Alina as well. What's your name?
Julia.
Where are you from?
Brazil.
Are you a digital nomad?
I've been a digital nomad for a month.
So you're new. You're new to the community. How was the transition from what you did and what you're doing nowadays?
I never even knew this existed, was such a thing as a digital nomad. When I was 20, I went for an exchange program in Portugal. And then after that, I was backpacking through Europe and Southeast Asia. And then I got to meet people who was like, oh, how long are you traveling for? And they'll say, no, however long I want, because I work while I travel. How? How did these people make it? That sparked my curiosity. And when I came back home to Brazil after a year abroad, just living off my savings, I was a business student. I was working in consulting, and I started sharing my travels as a hobby on Instagram. Then people started asking me, how do you do it? I saw an opportunity there to help others and teach them how to do it and make money from that. And I built up an online course for Portuguese speakers that want to go backpacking, but they don't know where to start, how to find a work exchange opportunity, how to find cheap flights, how to save money. So then I can sell that, and it's already recorded. I don't need to spend more time into it. At the same time, I'm building a community that's also making their dreams of traveling the world come true. So for me, it's a dream job.
And what is your handle? Do you do it more on Instagram or YouTube?
So far, mostly on Instagram. It's in Portuguese, julia.pelomundo.
Well, how was the transition between normal university life to what you do now?
It's been a hard transition because I'm still transitioning. I didn't have much of experience in the corporate world. I don't have much to compare of like working a 9-to-5 for years and then building a business.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm just starting out and I don't have a super solid business structure yet. And I'm also doing freelance English teaching because that helps me keep me grounded.
Okay.
I have other sources of income. So it's okay if you're not making 100% of your money from content creation or whatever it is yet. It's okay to have a side hustle and to take your time.
Yeah.
It's not overnight. A business degree takes 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
An online business is not going to blow up and super solid in a month.
And what's your favorite part of being a digital nomad?
I feel like the difference for me has been because I traveled before for almost a year as a backpacker. The financial struggle was way stronger when I had only my savings. So you would only see the money draining out and always looking for the cheapest price, the cheapest thing. It can be really exhausting in the long run. And now as a digital nomad, to see money flowing in, even if it's not as much as I want to yet, it still gives me peace of mind to, if I want to treat myself to a nice dinner or to buy that plane ticket to another country.
How much money usually do you make per month?
Between $800 and $1,000 a month. And that is why I also do the volunteering and all the other things to balance out the costs.
And about taxes, how does it work?
In Brazil, we have 2 types of companies. The one I have currently, it's called like a micro entrepreneur. You pay monthly taxes, and it's basically for freelancers and entrepreneurs who don't have a very large amount of income per year.
And do you know how much it is? It doesn't depend on how much you make?
No, because this type of company is already for people who make less than $20,000 a year.
What would you say to someone who wants to change their lives and become a digital nomad?
Why is it that you want to be a digital nomad? Is it because you saw it on Instagram and it looked cool, or you really want to go out there and see? Because as a content creator, you probably know this as well. It's not a dream life, but it is a dream life once you're actively aware of the pros and the cons. So I would talk to as many digital nomads as possible. So watching these interviews, reaching out to people, because that helped me a lot to understand, okay, this really is it for me right now.
What's your name?
Erika. I'm from Canada, in Alberta.
What do you do to have this lifestyle?
So right now I am developing a resort for digital nomads in Belize on an island. It's going to be a beach resort, and I dream of my laptop rooftop there working with a beautiful beach view. Right now, it's not necessarily paying me money, so it's a little different than normal digital nomads, but it will be.
Yeah.
I'll have my own salary and stuff like that. And I have Airbnbs and I do real estate investing in Canada. The best way to be a digital nomad, in my opinion, is make sure you don't have any expenses or limit the amount of expenses you have at home. And then you can spend that money on
traveling
other places. Yeah.
And how did you get the idea of building a resort?
I hate the cold, and I'm a Canadian, and I decided if I can do this in Canada, which is make spaces pretty, that's my passion, I can go do that in other countries. So I escaped winter. That was my goal.
And how did you get into the digital nomad world?
I had a normal job. I worked shift work. It was very heavy, but I did get into real estate investing and wanting to renovate houses.
Yeah.
And renovating houses, I thought I liked building. I don't. And I think that's the step. That's the first step, is doing something you think you're going to like better. Even if it's a side gig while you're doing your 9 to 5, find something you enjoy doing and just go in that direction, because you will refine it. It is not going to be it. You're going to keep refining it, but you're going to discover yourself along the way. And that's what led me to Belize.
And when is your project going to be ready? Because it sounds amazing. I mean, I want to go there and I want to be in a resort for digital nomads.
Oh my God, I want to be able to just snap my fingers and have it there right now. It's supposed to be ready by 2028. That is our kind of worst case scenario thing. So hopefully sooner than that. I actually would love to hear from any digital nomads out there. What do you want to see in a co-work space? What makes sense? What are the accommodations out there that have been amazing, and what has really sucked? Because I want to integrate all those systems that make sense and that we want.
What's your handle?
It's at the Belizean. TheBelizean.com is the website. So please send me a message, drop me a line, send me pictures of the comfiest furniture that you've sat on, because I don't know about you, I hate sitting like this at a desk, and I get that some people want that, but I want variety.
Do you know how much money do you make per month usually?
Well, that's the thing with Airbnb. There's slow season and high season. Right now, I don't make any money really in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So I have another job that I do on a casual basis, which allows me to go back when I need to. So I'm actually going to be going back to work in March.
Yeah. In the high season, how much do you make?
I just started. It used to be long-term rentals. So I would make 1,500 Canadian.
A lot of people ask in the videos, I don't know how it is because you have a different setup, but about the taxes, I don't know how that works. Do you pay taxes in Canada? How does it work?
The Belize thing is completely different because it's a company and I won't be operating it. But in Canada, as a Canadian, you are responsible for paying taxes to the government on your global income. Doesn't matter where you are, you have to declare it. That doesn't mean you're necessarily paying taxes on it. But let's say the tax rate in Argentina is lower.
What would you say to someone that wants to become a digital nomad and change their lives, but they are too scared to do it?
Understand why you're scared and try to put maybe a safety blanket under there for you, because it's always the first step. I think there's 2 main reasons in life that stop people from living the life that they actually want to do. And change is hard. It's not easy, because what's easy is doing the same thing you did yesterday and repeating that because it's comfortable and because you know it.
That's fine.
I'm employable. I have my health. Even if my Belize property I worked on for a whole year disappeared tomorrow because of an earthquake, hurricane, whatever, something happened, I still have my health, my happiness, my friendships that I made. It does not matter what you have in life. Buying a beach isn't going to make you happy. I promise you. People think I'm happy because I bought a beach. If you have no one to share it with, if you have no one to celebrate things with, your achievements, your birthdays, your whatever, and your failures with, that's the root of life right there.
My name is Camilo. I'm from Colombia.
Why did you choose Buenos Aires?
Yeah, I was in Brazil, so I was traveling. I spent 10 days with my father. He was getting to know Brazil, and then I was like, okay, let's go a little bit south. And then I found Buenos Aires, and here I am. I arrived here yesterday.
And you are a digital nomad?
Yeah, so I work, I am a marketing manager, so I work for an American company. All I do is marketing, events, campaigns, and the rest is just boring stuff that I just don't want to mention here. But yeah, that's how I work, and it's been a while since I joined this kind of industry.
When did you start traveling and working?
Probably I would need to go back 8 years. I used to do some freelance work. I used to volunteer a lot too. So I used some of the platforms that some of my friends use. Nowadays, I don't use them anymore. But I did Workaway, Workpackers. So I was just traveling from place to place, and it was not that pricey. easy.
How was your journey to become what you do nowadays?
I would say, like, since I was little, I had this idea in mind that I just need to go abroad and experience the world in a different way, have a different mindset. When I finished college, I planned to go to England, but then the government changed the law, so I couldn't work. So it was like, nah, that's not possible. So I continued. I started college back in Colombia, and then in the middle, I decided to go to Australia. You know, when you lived abroad, you have this experience, your mindset changes completely, and that's how I guess I started like thinking out of the box.
What's your favorite thing about being a digital nomad?
One of the pleasures of life is seeing those people that you haven't seen in ages, in years, and it's like the bond never went away. It's just the same friendship, because at some point they were your family while you were, traveling. And when you're traveling, sometimes you feel lonely, you feel you're vulnerable, at some point. And those people are there for you, and it's like kind of your mother, your father, but in a different place. And they have like this, you build up this different character like around them, and they became so close. I would say those are, one of my favorite things about traveling.
Yeah. Do you have the freedom to choose your hours, or you need to follow specific times through the day?
The only thing that I need to commit to is like the meeting hours.
How much money do you usually make per month?
I would give you a range between $3,000, $5,000. Yeah.
As a digital nomad, it's a very common question. Do you pay taxes in your country, or do you pay taxes in the US?
So they are American. They have like some sort of a legal company that does all the process, like in between the legal stuff. So my taxes are going for the Colombian government.
Colombia.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that wants to become a digital nomad?
It's not for everyone, but at least you should give it a try if you can. Like the fact that we are away from home, for a long time, sometimes you miss on stuff that is happening, back at home, and that is a little bit tricky to deal with. But once you become used to it, as I told you, you meet friends that then they become your family. So it's just a wonderful experience. It's all right. Just give it a try.
My name's Effie. I'm from London.
Are you a digital nomad?
Yeah.
What do you do that allows you to have this lifestyle?
Back home, before I left, I was a content and editorial director for a tech B2B PR company. So marketing. So I basically wrote content. I wasn't really loving my job that much at the time. So we decided to go traveling. And because I'm a writer, I figured I could do it anywhere. So I wanted to give it a try. So that's, you can write anywhere.
So now you're doing the writing freelancing.
Yes.
And how did you find your clients?
So before I left, I tried to meet up with as many people as I could who I'd met over the course of my employment, who could potentially give me work. I made a lot of contacts. But honestly, in the end, I just tried to make sure I had a good foundation. I got my LinkedIn, my profile, my portfolio.
And did you study to do what you're doing? Did you go to university? How was your...
I did, but kind of. I studied comparative literature at uni.
What's hard?
Comparative literature. It's literature where they compare literatures of different countries and cultures, as opposed to just English literature, which is just English. But I didn't really take university very seriously. I wasn't really... The way university happens in London, you go... In England, you go straight from secondary school to university. You study. I wasn't really into it.
What happened in your life for you to want to be a digital nomad, or it was something that happened kind of naturally?
It's a bit of both, I guess. The pandemic came about and everyone was working from home. I became very conscious that, what I do could be done from anywhere. There's a big world out there. And it felt like we were, with remote working, because remote working wasn't a thing. All of a sudden, that possibility of, I could just do this from a beach in, in Brazil or something. Before I left, my company that I was working for, they'd moved to 2 days a week, and then they slowly taken it up to 3 days a week. And then, I could see the transition going backwards. And I was like, no, I don't want to go back. I like this freedom.
What would you say is your favorite thing about being a digital nomad?
I like doing things when I want to do them. I've never been a big fan of get here at 9 o'clock, leave at 5 o'clock, sit in the office, even if you don't have any work to do. I like the freedom.
How much money do you usually make per month?
This last month that I've just finished now, 2K. I made last month in pounds.
Okay.
Not crazy, enough. I don't need a lot of money. I live in hostels and live comfortably.
You have a company, and how does it work? The taxes part?
So the taxes part of it, before I left, I signed up as a sole trader. So that means, just it's the minimum freelance, your business in yourself. You don't have any assets or anything. Got a certain kind of insurance to, just kind of cover stuff like that. I'm registered in the UK, so I'm registered around my parents' house. Legally, I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Okay.
Like, I just need to be back in the country for a little bit this year.
For a little bit, yeah.
So I'm planning on heading back in August time.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
As in, I don't know how long I'll be back for. Like, I know I'll probably be back for the rest of the year. But then if it's worked really well these next few months, maybe this is just life now. Yeah. And I'll just, make sure I'm back in the UK for the legal amount of time I have to be there. I have an account. Every job I get, I put away like 20% for potential taxes in a separate account. It probably won't be that much, but just to kind of be safe, I want to be able to do this. I don't want to be, worrying about the tax man and stuff.
Yeah. What would you say to someone that wants to be a digital nomad, who wants to take that step? What's your advice?
One half of it would be prepare. Try and plan. Try and do whatever you can to make sure that when you leave, before you leave the country, you have as much of a foundation as possible. Like, that might not matter. Like, like all the people who I spoke to, like, oh, give me work and stuff. A lot of them haven't reached out yet. They might still in the future. I set up a freelance, website and did all the things. I try to lay as much of it, because once you're out of the country, a lot of these things become a lot harder. But at the same time, it's always going to be a risk. You can't do it if you're waiting for it to be perfect. You need to just kind of take the leap. Definitely. So it's kind of a balance. So, prepare as much as you can, but just do it. Just do it. Try it out. What's the worst that happens? And have some savings. Have some savings just in case.
What's your name?
Alina. I'm from Austria.
Why did you choose Buenos Aires this time?
Well, I was part of Nomads cruise last year from Spain to Brazil. We ended up in Brazil and traveled then through Brazil. And after some time there and in Uruguay and Paraguay, I ended up in Buenos Aires. I would consider myself more as a part-time digital nomad because I still have my base and I normally spend there a couple of months. And during winter.
So what's the job that lets you work remotely and have this lifestyle?
I help people to set up their online business as a virtual assistant. This is how I started by myself a couple of years ago.
And how did you get into that? Did you go to university? What's your journey to become a digital nomad and to do what you do nowadays?
I was working for a big TV show in Germany a couple of years ago. Basically, I was a tour guide, and then I found out I would like to do something else. I started working for The Voice of Germany. Voice, I think it's the international.
The one that people sing?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And I was working there in Berlin, but I live in Vienna, so I was going back and forth. And due to this job, I became the personal assistant of a famous German supermodel because I met her there and she asked me, hey, I'm pregnant, would you like to support me and come to Berlin? During this time, I was still studying in Vienna. So I quit my study, I moved to Berlin, started to work for her, came back to Vienna to fix the last things, and then COVID started. So I couldn't go back to Berlin. I was working for her then a couple of weeks and months during the first lockdown online. And during this time, I thought, when I can do this for her, maybe I can do it for other people as well.
Mm-hmm. And as a digital nomad, how many hours do you usually work per day? How do you organize your time?
I organize my time like how I feel it, to be honest.
The freedom.
Yes. But I also found out that too much freedom is not good for me. So I try to create some structure by, for example, I only do calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
How much money do you usually make per month?
I knew that you will ask this question.
Now people know I'm going to ask.
I will not answer this for a reason because I don't like, I don't know why, numbers satisfy us and then we can compare it. If we have a number, if I would tell you now I make 15,000 a month, you would compare. Or you would think, oh wow, that's a lot, or I make less, or other people make more, whatever. So I prefer, this is what I also do on Instagram with my content, I don't tell people I make 10K a month and this is how you make it as well, because this shouldn't be the goal.
I think a lot of people have been asking in the comments about how do digital nomads pay taxes, and most of the people that I've been interviewing do actually pay in their own country. But I know that some digital nomads have different setups of like, what do? You pay in Austria, normal?
Yes, I do. And as long as I'm just a part-time digital nomad, I will keep on going with this. And I had some discussions in the past about it because, of course, people recommend you go to Dubai, Estonia, or or just found a LLC in the US or whatever. I personally think I still have an apartment there. I live there during the summer. I'm part of the society, and for this, I'm paying because I'm part of the community.
It makes sense for you because you do have an actual business.
Yes.
And the taxes in Austria, would you consider them like
Compared to what? To Bulgaria, it's probably high. Yeah. For me, it's fine.
what would you say to someone who wants to become a digital nomad and the person is too afraid to do it?
I think first, try to find out why you are afraid. I think we were all afraid at the beginning because we are always afraid of the unknown. Totally normal thing. We prefer what we already know. And of course, it scares us. It scares us because it can be worse. You know, it can be worse when you don't know what is there to come. But if I look back and if I could choose again, I would always go this way because what you get is so amazing. It's freedom, the possibility to travel the world, the people you will meet. So I think I would recommend people to do a research, to go into the topic they're really interested in, to look for possibilities, to get some help, paid, unpaid, whatever, just someone who already did it and who can give you some advices, and then just to start and to try it for half a year, and find out if you like it. And if you don't like it, you can always go back to your normal life.
I'm here with another digital nomad here from Alina in Buenos Aires. What's your name?
My name is Nate. I'm from Slovenia.
Are you a digital nomad?
I wouldn't consider myself really as a digital nomad, but I do run a small company in Slovenia. We do white label CBD oils. The situation allows me to travel a lot and work remotely then.
What exactly does your company do?
We specialized in manufacturing mainly CBD oils, which is kind of an extract of hemp.
Where is the country that was the best for you to work? Your favorite?
Tanzania. We did also safari there. This one, if I had to pick one favorite one, is this one. Yeah.
Tanzania.
And Tenerife as well.
Tenerife. I want to go there.
Yeah.
Were you always doing that, or you studied something different? Did you change something in your life to do what you're doing?
I used to work as a management consultant actually. Then I decided to switch my career path, try entrepreneurship. I was still young.
Did people around you tell you not to do? It was too risky, or people were supportive of your idea?
You have believers and disbelievers. Some say it can be done, go for it, and the others say no, this cannot be done. But then it's up to you to believe in yourself, in your business idea. I like to say I'm also a mentor to some other entrepreneurs.
Nice.
And I
coaching session.
Basically, you share your lessons learned. What would you do differently? What would you do the same, and so on. So you help them out from the business idea to starting the business. I have a saying that there's no plan B in entrepreneurship. Have the risk mitigations plans, but focus on plan A only, because as long as you have a plan B, plan A.
Your company is based in Slovenia, or do you have the company somewhere else?
Based in Slovenia.
How much money do you usually make with your company per month?
It a little bit fluctuates, but usually we try and keep it above 100K. Euros.
How does the taxes work? Because your company is based in Slovenia, you pay taxes there.
We pay there, the taxes there. I'm also employed by the company. Get a normal salary. It's not that I'm like a subcontractor of my company.
And how are the taxes in Slovenia?
You have lots of taxes. But and then there is corporate income tax, right? Obviously the VAT. Then if you want to pay yourself out some profits, you have to pay the personal income tax on that. But what saddens me and other entrepreneurs, I believe as well in Slovenia, that the salary is very, very highly taxed. In Slovenia, some people don't have high wages, and then this is already highly taxed. The lower part of the wage, it's like if you're lower this level of the wage, it's not that high tax. But then also people who are knowledgeable and would get a better wage somewhere else, at least within EU, they would move out from Slovenia.
What would you say to someone that wants to become a digital nomad, or who wants to open their own business?
That they shouldn't be afraid. I like to quote to Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin, who says, "Screw it, let's do it and have fun. Do it until it's fun."
Screw it and do it, right?
Correct. Screw it and do it.
Thank you so much. Lovely meeting you, and enjoy your travels.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.